You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode number 211.3. Hamilton County Reporter Sports Editor Richie Hall previews number one, defending state champion and state championship favorite Fishers at the Elkhart Semistate. And University looks to play spoiler at the Class 2A Semistate at the Hatchet House in Washington.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report, to the Hamilton County Reporters, Richie Hall, who is covering has to be considered the best team in the state. The Fishers Tigers won 41 games in a row, the defending state champions, and look like the prohibitive favorites in the semi-state. Welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report, Richie Hall.
Well, thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Pretty fun team to cover.
Yeah, they are. They are. And the amazing thing about this team is just the fact that there's not one dominant player. Like for example, we just had, for the Hamilton Southeastern girls, we just had Maya Mikulewski win Miss Basketball last night.
Right.
And of course, she was she was the leading scorer for the team and everything. And of course, she had great players around her too, like Henry Holman. But everything kind of went through Maya this year. But for the Fishers, there's pretty much anybody can step in at any given time. In fact, we're going to have a preview of Fishers' semi-state games. So probably more than likely games. Well, obviously we want to get ahead of ourselves, but
right, exactly.
You never know. But I'm pretty confident that Fishers is going to be favored to win their first game, and then if they do that, they'll get into the championship game, and then hopefully win that, and then be back in the state the state finals. But I'm looking at a preview that our Craig Atkins is writing about Fishers, and this will be in our Saturday edition. Here's your leading scorers. Jason Gardner Jr., a sophomore, 14.6 points.
Right.
Justin Kirby, a senior, 12.6 points. Cooper Zachary, another sophomore, 11.4 points. And John Anthony Hall, a senior, 10.2 points. And then right behind them, Nolan McCartney, a senior, 9.3 points. I mean,
it's really incredible. It's unlike almost anything I've ever seen with a great team. The type of I think if they had 8 different players lead them in scoring this year or something like that.
Well, probably, yeah. Because I know that the above five that I've mentioned have probably been the leading scorer at one point during the season.
And they have depth.
Yeah, they do. That's just what the amazing thing to watch is too. Like I watched their regional game last week against Harrison, and Harrison scored the first 2 points. Then after that, of course, was all Fishers. Here comes Cooper Zachary, double 3-pointers. Here comes John Anthony Hall with the dunk, and he actually even hit a 3-pointer too. Jason Gardner, and the thing about Gardner, I think, is that he's the leading scorer, but he just kind of gets his points so quietly. And he's also their main assister too, 5.3 assists per game. Zachary 5.2 assists. So I think they said that I think the stat is like they assist something like well over 20 of their baskets every game, like at least 20 assists.
Yeah.
So it's not just that they're deep, but they're also unselfish too.
Very much so. It's a very impressive team to watch, as you would imagine from a 28-0 team. And like you said, you don't want to get ahead of yourself because although Fishers beat Riley very easily in the regular season, that's a very good regional championship team that they're going to be playing at 10 a.m. at Elkhart on Saturday morning.
There were, when Fishers obviously beat them 89-29. This is back on January 18th. However, there was a little bit of an extenuating circumstance with that. Riley was without some players because they had a confrontation post-game with the South Bend Adams a couple nights before that. Obviously, I'm not saying that Riley would have beaten Fishers like 90-89 had those players been there, but
right. Needless to say, Riley is a huge underdog in this one.
Yes, definitely.
Despite a young man named, is it Tyrese Jones?
Yes, Tyrese Jones. He scored 45 points in their double overtime win over Warsaw to win the South Bend Washington Regional. So, Yeah, Craig doesn't have the average on here, but I imagine his average is pretty. Okay, yeah, 15 points per game
It's
and
pretty
6
good.
rebounds.
Man, he came up a big and hit a lot of big shots as well in that game against number 9 Warsaw. That they, I don't know if you'd call it an upset or not, but according to the rankings, it was a bit of an upset.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the funny thing about the rankings is I have them up here right now, and you got number 1 Fishers, number 4 Crown Point. They're going to play Homestead, and then Jeffersonville is ranked number 7. So we only have 3 of the top 10 teams left in 4A. Of course, Fishers had to beat Westfield, number 2 ranked in the first round of the
Right.
sectional. Then they beat number 8 Noblesville in the sectional finals. So which
But
we had.
I believe a lot of people, including on our podcast, believed that the actual second and third best teams all along were the teams that were second and third in the preseason, and that, of course, is Jeffersonville and Lawrence North, who are in the South, and of course, you don't want to count out Mount Vernon and Luke Erdel as well. So it's not going to be an easy road at all for Fishers, but you would think that the first round. Um, of this of the semi-state should be a pretty easy one, I would think, for them. I wouldn't say easy is the right word. A comfortable win, I would think. Crown Point, on the other hand, that's a team that looks like it could possibly contend a little with Fishers.
Yes, I did see Crown Point before this. This is during the holiday tournament right after New Year's Day. They played Southeastern and won 72-55. And I think if I remember correctly, yeah, they did have a good player in there was Daryl. I think I think it's Mason Daryl. He's their second leading scorer, 14.4 points, and then Dikembe Shaw, 16.1 points, is leading scorer. And they also got pretty good balance too.
They do.
So, yeah. And their coach, Clint Swan, he's been there forever. In fact, when I used to work at Lebanon, the Lebanon paper, Clint Swan was the coach of Frankfurt, so I knew him
that's right.
pretty well. And Frankfurt and Lebanon had some pretty good games. Frankfurt had at least one buzzer beater win over Lebanon when I was there. He's won 280 games, and then previously coached at Andrean in 2000. And in 2000, they went to the 3A state finals. So, that's a very veteran coach, and I know that if it winds up being Fishers and Crown Point in the semi-state final, that they'll take Crown Point seriously because you got Coach Swan, you've got all those great players they have, so that might be a pretty good battle.
As good as Fishers is, I would think at this point you take everybody seriously.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Everybody's a regional champion at this point.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and not to mention that even if Fishers does make it to the state finals, that Mount Vernon's still there. Fishers beat Mount Vernon 77-46 in December, but we've all been seeing how Mount Vernon's been playing lately, and
yes,
I wouldn't be surprised if they came out of the South Semi-State.
Nope.
Greenfield Central, Braylon Mullins is just named the Gatorade Boys Player of the Year, and they played Fishers in the championship of the Hall of Fame Classic, and it was a 5-point game.
And I don't think anyone would be surprised by Jeffersonville or Lawrence North either. But I think everyone would be very surprised if Fishers does not come out of Elkhart.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're just they're just playing really well, and they were battle tested at the sectional, and they had a very easy game over Harrison, the regional. But I think if you're a really good dominant team, sometimes you just do get that one easy game during the tournament, but I don't think it should affect them too much. They'll be ready on Saturday.
I'm sure they will. They are a bunch of hungry kids, and they'll be ready to go for sure. Yeah. And you have a bit of an upstart university team playing at the beautiful Hatchet House in Washington. They are playing in a field with a bunch of opponents that know how to win championships, so it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to accomplish there.
Yeah, university is in the same semi-state as we're going to be playing Linton Stockton.
Linton Stockton been winning a lot of championships lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the funny thing at university is that they always seem to be. I've been covering them ever since I came here. The school's, I think, been playing IHSAA since about 2000, the middle 2000s.
Yes.
In fact, I'm looking at their overall tournament record right now since they started playing since 2006, and they're 35-19. They've won 5
Nice.
sectionals, 4 in 1A, and then the first choice sectional in 2022. They won at Lebanon on Saturday, and it was their first 2A regional title. They'd won 1A in Martinsville back in 2013, and
Right.
I was at Martinsville for that game, which was, I think it was pretty easy. They beat Jacksonville by 18 points. Their first 2A regional Saturday at Lebanon, that was a little bit tougher. They played Triton Central. They got a great effort from Blake Gray, the junior. The university's leading scorer is Max McComb. He averages, I think, about, not sure what his average is, but I know it's pretty much double figures. But Triton Central held him to 5 points in the game. So Blake Gray came in, he stepped up, and he just played really well. He was, playing very aggressive, cutting to the basket very well, scoring pretty much any which way, lay-ins, jump shots. Then they played defense really well too. They had to deal with Eli Seago from Triton Central, who wound up being the leading scorer for 30, with 30 points. But and they knew that Eli was going to get his points, but they just did a really good job shutting down everybody else.
Yeah, it seems like he scored 30 points every night. The University Linton game is scheduled for approximately 12:15 at Washington, following 24-4 and third-ranked Park Heritage against 19-6 Forest Park, which is one of the best programs in Southern Indiana, and you expect to be really good, even though they aren't ranked.
Again, just like it is in 4A, we're into the final 8 now. Even if somebody isn't ranked, they had to probably had to beat somebody ranked to
Yes,
get there
they
anyway.
did.
So,
Yes, they did. They beat the number one
so
team in the state. Well, number one in one poll, number two South Ripley. So they're legit. Forest Park program does not rebuild; it reloads. So
yeah,
Linton as
I
well.
think that's for sure. I really think that Park Heritage being ranked number 3 is that probably makes them the automatic favorite in the eyes of many. But University plays a pretty decent schedule. I'm just taking a look at it right here. The conference they play in, the Pioneer Conference, you've got perennially good programs like Liberty Christian, Muncie Burris, Anderson Prep's gotten better over the years. University plays a few 4A teams too, like Morrisville, Evansville North. They played Westfield. They beat Decatur Central.
They definitely play up.
Just like Fishers, they'll be battle tested and they'll be ready to go. And I definitely think you have to give University a chance to win that semi-state, and then if they do that, they'll be in the state finals for the first time in boys basketball.
On our semi-state preview, we all picked who was going to win every semi-state. Michelle Garman, Grant Schaus, and myself. And I picked Forest Park. Michelle picked Park Heritage, and Grant picked Linton Stockton. So we all three picked a different team. So that one seems a bit wide open.
I'll go ahead and pick University.
There you
Why
go.
not?
That's what I was going for.
I think Justin Blanding, he was the girls coach for a long time, and he coached the University girls to a couple regional championships, and he's really done great things with the boys program. This is only his second year coaching the boys, and they're already in the semi-state. Amazing coach, really great person too, and still relatively young. I think he's a couple of years younger than me, so hopefully he'll be there for a while, and he'll be able to keep bringing the university to a lot of success.
And it's always easier to go and cover it and cheer for on the inside, of course, not on the outside, when they're good people as well.
I didn't really know much about university when I came here. I started working in Hamilton County in 2007, and university was still pretty much a brand new school. And that very first year, their girls basketball team got all the way to the 1A state finals.
Wow.
So this school's been pretty successful right from the get-go. Their baseball team with Chrissy Stab, they won a 1A state championship a few years ago after getting the state finals. They're up in 2A now, also pretty low in that. University was 1A for several years. Then made the jump up to 2A, and that's what they wanted to do. I think they were ready to challenge themselves and get up into a higher class, and so far they're doing pretty well in all sports.
Thank you so much for Richie. He does so much for Hamilton County with his coverage there with the Hamilton County Reporter. And thank you for listening. If you want to see us continue to grow and thrive, please share these episodes with your friends and family. We thank you as always. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media. And I love Susie.